Hello. Welcome back to Hinamizawa, everyone. Sadly, our Uncle Hojo is still in his grave, as he put it. So, um... Wait, what did he say exactly? I can just relay the message. Ah, I see. Your cool Uncle Tepe is still in the grave, sadly. That's what he said. Alright. So, when last we left our heroes...
He'll come back soon.
Literally nothing happened the past few days, just to be clear.
There was no beginning.
We just left our house to go to school. And that's it. That's really all there is to say on the matter. I listened with an irresponsible smile and stepped out into the sun high overhead. It was around the time lunch break would be ending, so I'm just not going to eat food. Everyone would probably be worrying about me. I didn't go to the festival, and now I wasn't at school. Well, maybe they weren't too worried about it. Since they would have gotten a small piece of news, but a happy one from Sadako today. Yes, the small piece of news.
Is this a new background?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Oh.
It
I think
looks
this was in
quite
chapter
different, though,
1,
to be honest.
when we were first introduced to Kasai, the driver for
Yeah.
Ian.
This is like a different vibe, I feel. Anyway.
Yeah, it does a really different feel.
Yes, the small piece of news that her uncle hadn't come home last night. Sadako had probably lived her days in nervous tension for a while, thinking he might still come home. But eventually, those days would end. And finally, Sadako, too, would realize her uncle was never coming back. And then, Rika-chan would quietly invite her. She would say, "You can live with me again." And everything would be back to normal. Our lives would go back to how they were before that man appeared. What man? Literally nothing happened the past few days. What are you talking about, Keiichi? Sadako would start wearing that extraordinary smile, complete with those protruding canines, and fool everyone with those traps she was so proud of.
It's protruding dogs. Wow.
Yeah.
He's got that dog in there.
I'd probably be her first target out of everyone, but I wouldn't be mad. In fact, I might actually shed tears of joy at the return of something so normal. Oh yeah, she hasn't like set a trap in a while, has she? Or maybe she's been setting traps and like...
She's been rigging the atom bomb off screen.
Yeah, she's been like rigging a tripwire to a nuclear bomb and it's gonna drop on Keiichi when he goes through the door. Anyway.
That's why this is the shortest scenario.
In fact, I might... Well, no, actually she's setting up the volcano trap. The hypothetical volcano. So, anyway. In fact, I might actually shed tears of joy at the return of something so normal. Sadako. She'd gradually grow back into that meddlesome personality of hers. I mean, my lack of useful life skills was already completely exposed. I wondered if I'd ever be a match for Sadako. But that would be such a pleasant thing to see, too. And with such warm, fuzzy predictions, I didn't feel bad for going to school so late. In fact, I wanted to run there now to get there as soon as I could. Instead, I decided to savor the peacefulness instead of just going to school like normal, without running. The world I'd obtained for myself, that gave me joy just by walking like this. Yes. The world beginning on this very day was something I had won. I thought we weren't gonna have any beginnings. Well, I mean, let's be real, he's probably not long for this world after this point, but...
I mean, he's developing his own stand. The world he had obtained for himself.
Oh my god, he obtained the world? Holy shit!
Yeah, because Tepe had the same kind of stand.
He had Star Platinum. Anyway.
We'll eventually
was-
get to the funny jokes.
Okay, anyway. Without that monumental feat yesterday, I would never have been able to come to school so cheerfully today. The school gate came into sight. Just then, I heard the principal ringing the bell to mark the end of lunch break. It was a clear, refreshing sound after I just committed murder. I stopped despite myself and let myself take it in. Tap. I had stopped suddenly. So there was an extra footstep. Didn't he say that there was also an extra footstep earlier?
Just want to say real quick, I'm really proud of Keiichi for being proud of himself, for giving a child with abandonment issues one more family member who permanently disappeared with no explanation.
Okay, to be fair, I'm not too broken up about it. Like the whole murder thing, yeah, that maybe was not the best solution, but you know.
Yeah, but it's pretty ironic.
You go, girl. You know what I'm saying? You go, girly pop.
He just like keeps dropping subtle hints. Like, I had a killer night last night.
I had a real ripper of a time. I bashed Tepe's fucking brains out last night. Just some nice subtle hints. I had stopped suddenly, so there was an extra footstep. So, hold on, does this mean that the extra footsteps thing is, like, actually real? And not just something he hallucinated, or is he still hallucinating?
He has a third leg right now.
I mean, both chapters where he's heard...
third leg? Don't say that!
Why
Hi,
not?
who joined? Oh my god, hi! Yo! Okay, you did not miss much. He's basically just talking about how everything's totally gonna go back to normal now that I've committed murder.
Deafened.
Oh. Okay, well, you didn't miss much.
They're still deafened. They still do not hear you.
Yeah, they still can't hear you.
Okay, there we go. Hold on. Hi. There we go. Okay. So, you did not miss very much. Basically, Keiichi went to school and he's like, yeah, everything's gonna go back to normal now that I've committed murder. It's gonna be great. And then he heard an extra footstep when he stopped. With a noise, the blessedness I was feeling throughout my whole body withdrew into any pore it could find. And as if to replace it, I felt like hundreds of hairy caterpillars were climbing up my feet. He really loves this caterpillar metaphor, doesn't he? I turned back, but of course, nobody was there. A single footstep could have easily been my imagination, but the footstep felt so ominous. That extra footstep I had heard after seeing Takano-san off last night. With everything that happened on that insane night, I didn't mind something like that happening once. It had been a hell of a night, after all. In fact, having just one hallucination was pretty fortunate.
That's moving the goalposts a little, Keiichi.
Just a little bit. But those footsteps should have ended with yesterday. So, if I heard them again today, there was really only one thing it could have meant. Last night still wasn't over. It was still going. Still. That insane night. Forever. The step I heard. Just that one extra footstep was quietly ridiculing the nonsensical notion that the world starting today was completely different from the one that ended yesterday. My classmates playing in the schoolyard all vanished inside like the tide going out. When I approached the school, it felt like that warm, fuzzy scene had ended, and it didn't feel good. At the entrance, I took a quick look in everyone's shoeboxes. Sadako Hojo. She was here. Mion was here too. And Rena, of course. Even Rika-chan was here. What do you mean
What do you mean even? Yeah.
does she like ditch school often? Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun were here, unfortunately. In fact, I didn't see any missing classmates. If there were shoes missing, they would have to be my own. I took my shoes off and stuck them in, then took out some slippers. There wasn't a single pair left in the shoeboxes anymore. With that, they returned to their rightful state. But as I stepped up onto the wooden floor, I noticed there was just one pair of slippers left. Huh? Whose?
Satoshi Hojo.
Satoshi, who had never been to school since disappearing last year. Until now, we had committed the exact same act of violence. But I guess in the very end, it went differently. Keiichi, did you forget that he disappeared a few days after? Did you happen to forget that little detail? Yes? You couldn't make it to school, but here I am. I didn't repeat the same mistake you made. I wasn't about to let myself feel superior about that. In fact, I felt an odd sense of familiarity with him, almost as if we were the same person. A misfortunate bond with someone I'd never met due to following the same fate. I headed down the hallway towards the usual classroom. It felt like it had been a whole year since coming here. Hey, did you forget Keiichi Maibara? Satoshi Hojo didn't really disappear on the night of Watanagashi, did he? ... Satoshi Hojo. Okay, I should let Ryukishi speak, sorry. Disappeared a few days later. On Sadako's birthday, if I was right, yes. I didn't know what day it was, but I couldn't say for sure I'd avoided Satoshi's failure unless I remained here past that day. I was still living in that night of insanity. The teacher still hadn't come to the classroom. The other door clattered open, the one the teacher wouldn't use, so everyone turned at once to see who had arrived. Everyone looked pretty vacant. Suppose I'll greet them.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I do thank you for coming all the way out here today.
Silence. Yeah, that wasn't really a zinger, Keiichi, sorry. When I started to think I'd fallen flat, someone finally started laughing for me. Good morning, Kei-chan. You're pretty energetic today.
Yeah, energetic. Maybe you haven't gotten out of the festive mood yet. How?
Hearing Mion and Rena's cheerful voices made me realize how dumb those dark feelings I've been having at the entrance really were.
Hey now, festive mood? I wasn't...
Don't say you
God
weren't
damn
at the
it,
festival,
Keiichi.
you fucking moron!
Why?
They're literally
Can't
covering
say
your ass
one
right
word.
now! They're covering for you, bro! Come on!
Failed the intelligence check.
Anyway,
My alibi? I don't have that.
at the festival at all, remember? Before I could say that, Rika-chan smiled at me. Does anybody want to be Rika this time? Since we don't have our usual.
Keiichi, did you make sure to watch my dance?
Yep, he saw it just fine. Didn't you see how big an applause he gave you?
And he ignored it when that troublemaker Shion came up and made a pass at him. Take that, Shion. Wow, that felt good.
Shion destroyed.
Shion destroyed with facts and logic.
Fuck yes, lad.
So... Something about the way Rika said this... That's a bit weird, right? Why is she not covering for him? Huh?
She kind of is, isn't she?
Kind of?
I mean, it remains
Well,
to be seen
I
whether she is
guess?
or not.
I don't know.
This
Something...
could easily be her, like, oh yes, you saw my dance, right? Yeah, you were there, right? Like,
Oh,
it could be
yeah,
that,
Okay, I guess.
or it could not be that.
It could.
don't
It could
really know
also
yet.
be
That's
like,
Baka.
hey, where were you last night, Keiichi? Were you doing a little bit of murder, huh? Mion starts laughing at the memory. She slaps me a few times at the back.
So how did that target practice contest turn out in the end?
Tomita-kun was facing me and talking. There was nobody behind me. That meant he was talking to me? Keiichi, you're a bit slow on the uptake, I'm sorry to say.
Yamatake turned up dead last. Everyone had a good time with his punishment game.
Wait,
Turned up
that's...
dead last?
Okay, ignoring the dead last part, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Because that would imply that the target practice also happened in this timeline. But
Yeah.
Keiichi shouldn't have
Yeah.
been there.
Eh.
Huh?
It also implies
He was
that.
there. It's fine.
Yeah, he was.
But
Were you not here for last session? What?
Dementia
wasn't-
art.
But wasn't
Weren't you
the
at
re-
the festival, Tahate?
Yes, I was at the... Okay, but wasn't Tomatake, like... Wasn't the reason he joined in because of Keiichi in the first place? So that's a bit...
Yeah, probably not.
That's a bit
Well-
odd, isn't it?
He also wasn't in Hinamizawa at the time because his bike was at.
Oh, yeah, true. So
And,
it would have
you know,
been
he can't be
impossible
where
for
his
that to
bike
be his
isn't.
bike. Yeah, it
Yeah.
would have been impossible.
Yeah, you get it.
He definitely wasn't in the trunk, for sure. Anyway. Let's just go forward with the scene. I'm gonna stop asking questions, but both of Rika's lines are giving me weird vibes right now. The other people seem like they're covering for him, but anyway. Weren't you supposed to be the one in last place, Rika-chan? It was such a turnaround when you pulled off getting that chewing gum. I should have expected that from a member of my club. Okay, no, that is weird. Nope, this is getting weird. It was fantastic! Praying at a time like this is a feat only Furude would be allowed to do, said Okamura-kun, breathing heavily from his nose.
Why are these two just like honorary club members?
I don't know!
What's with the
Well-
formatting here? Why are
When
we...
Keiichi
I don't
listed his
know.
classmates, he mentioned Okimura and the other guy, and
This
said that
one
no
line
one's
was-
missing.
This one line was ghost written by a different person.
Like, it's entirely possible that Keiichi's entire class is just a club and these two.
True. Anyway. In my direction. Everyone laughed. If anyone but Rika-chan had done it, it would have been against the rules. Rika-chan gave one of her Nippa smiles as she listened to it. In my direction. Rena, too, turned to me. No. Turned towards me. Okay, so... Here's my thing. So I said Keiichi's a bit slow on the uptake, but... Given that he's starting to remember previous timelines now, maybe he's actually quick on the uptake.
Where is he starting to remember what?
He's starting to remember the previous timelines. The previous Kalpas. There we go. Kalpas. Anyway. Rena, too, turned to me. No. Turned towards me. And then, with a somewhat embarrassed smile, she whispered to me so only I could hear.
Oh, really? Thanks. Keiichi-kun.
What?
That giant stuffed animal. I was really happy. It's nice and safe right at my bedside. And I made sure to give it a goodnight kiss before bed, too. Oh.
Alright, that's a sip of water.
Ow.
The class laughed at that, cheering and jeering. This whole time, the conversation had been a little bit off. I wasn't quite getting it.
What's this? About a stuffed animal?
What's this? Come on. We all worked really hard at the festival yesterday to get it down, remember? The gigantic stuffed animal. The gigantic stuffed animal.
I like the threatening tone you put on that. That was pretty good. Rena seemed taken aback, but when she answered, she did it with a smile.
We were having a hard time knocking it over, so we tried aiming at the forehead and rapid-fire shooting and stuff.
Okay, so this is the exact same event verbatim.
And then Keiichi-kun, he got a whole bunch of guns ready beforehand and shot them all. It was so cool. Oh.
Wait. Who was this? All the people in the neighborhood association, including the chairman, were praising you so much at the party afterwards. One of them said he'd fallen in love with your way with words. Tokuzo Kimiyoshi, the chairman of the children's committee, I think. Oh, we have a first name now? It's not just Old Man Kimiyoshi anymore? Yo!
It's because he's fallen in love.
Now we can finally solve the mystery.
Yeah, he fell in love with a child.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to entrust you with a few of the stalls at the next festival.
Okuzo is the chair of the refreshment booths. He's on the festival executive committee.
Ibara-san is great at making things sound good, isn't he? Someone else can take this
Yep.
one.
Whenever he talks about something, it seems a lot better than it actually is.
There's like a cowboy in the class. You can't say that.
Keiichi-kun, you'd make a great salesman. I bet you'd do great auctioning off overripe bananas or something.
What have you been talking about? I mean, I
Didn't go to the festival in the first place. I swallowed those words. I didn't know exactly why, but in Hinamizawa, this is what had happened.
didn't know exactly why, but in Hinamizawa,
Oh,
no one jumped for the
There's
beef.
people in this one.
What?
So, no wait, hold on. Background style. There we go.
Oh,
That
no more
looks
people.
very different. Yesterday, during the Watanagashi festival, Keiichi Maibara had appeared, in quotation marks, and he romped about with all the usual members of his club. He made
Keiichi's
it-
really good at multitasking.
He's so good at multitasking, he was in two places at once. Okay, so here's the big question, though. Like, did he just hallucinate the whole thing and go to the festival? Are they covering his ass? Or was he actually in two places at once? That would be the most fun option. But... ugh, God.
Well, maybe
Jesus
we'll figure
Christ.
it out soon.
I doubt it.
In 3 chapters.
Yeah, in 3 chapters we'll figure it out. He made a big scene at a few of the stalls, snatched a few sticks of takoyaki and okonomiyaki in his glee, reading each of them as delicious or terrible to get everyone excited. So that was chapter 2, I think, was the rating game. So both of those events. I'm gonna need to make like a fucking timeline, Jesus Christ. And they'd seen a gigantic stuffed animal at the target practice game, and everyone went after it. Well, see, the thing is, they could just be covering his ass, but with how specific they're being, and I'm pretty sure the only reason Tomatake joined in was because of Keiichi. So this is actually... There's at the very least something strange going on here, even if it's not, like, a doppelganger. Anyway. And they'd seen a gigantic stuffed animal at the target practice game. And everyone went after it.
I can't believe we're following the sussy Baka imposter Keiichi.
Didn't we already do that in Chapter 1? He killed 2 people.
I mean, to be fair, he thought he was defending himself.
Anyway. And then I got a whole bunch of cork guns, firing them in rapid succession, throwing each one away after using it. And admirably, I shot down the biggest stuffed animal there. And then, I gave the stuffed animal, the proof of my victory, to Rena as a gift. Then our fun came to a close, as we had to go see Rika-chan's offertory dance. There was a ton of... Huh?
I like that line implying that Rika's dance was not fun.
Okay, well, to be fair, it's more of a ceremony than a fun event, but... Anyway.
What we did is kind of funny.
Just casually throwing shade at Rika, it's okay. There was a ton of people squeezed in there, and we all got separated, but we each managed to get off into good positions to cheer Rika-chan on from. Then, in the middle, when Shion came up and asked me to go hang out with her instead of watching the dedication chants, I refused, and stayed put, watching the dance until the very end. So that's different, because we know how that ends in Chapter 2. He, in fact, does not refuse Shion, and everything gets fucked up as a result. So... Okay, so that would mean that... Yeah, I'm gonna figure out the timeline later. I can't do this right now. We gotta continue.
It does mean that every Shion event up until the end of Chapter 2 was canon, right?
That's what I was thinking. Like, that kind of has to be the case, right? God damn. That also means that he didn't give the doll to Mion in this chapter, did he? This is a disaster. But who? Who is that? Well, everyone's been saying it, haven't they? Keiichi Maibara. I had an urge to yell in anger at my classmates for having so much fun talking about the festival yesterday with Keiichi Maibara. What the hell are you guys even talking about? Far stronger than that feeling, though, was the sheer uncanny nature of this reality I couldn't understand. Keiichi Maibara, who wasn't me, was in Hinamizawa yesterday. As I threw away my humanity, turned into a demon, and was busy beating Sadako's uncle to death. I was having a great time at the festival last night. That's a good line. What the hell? I had to suffer through so much, desperately holding back tears, getting so worn out in that downpour, digging holes, chasing, beating, killing, dragging, and burying. Who was this Keiichi Maibara who had ignored me so and spent such a fun, carefree time at the festival, damn it? Who the hell stood in for me as I put my life on the line, working so hard to achieve this treasure-like everyday life? If there was another Keiichi Maibara besides me, then what was I? Probably Satoshi. On the night of Wada Nagashi, where one died and one disappeared, in accordance with Oyashiro-sama's curse, there was only a demon who had killed someone. Dumbfounded, as I succumbed to a horrifying possibility, I looked around at my classmates. To make sure, there was nobody extra I didn't recognize among them. Among us? To make sure, I wasn't among them. It was a horrifying thought. that the real Keiichi Maibara hadn't overslept and had come to school on time. And that I, who was no longer Keiichi Maibara, had just waltzed in there. But no matter how much I checked, the only people here were the ones I knew. The man I met every time I looked in the bathroom mirror was not here.
Okay, everyone. Time to start afternoon classes. Please take your seats. President, please lead the class.
The teacher entered, and everyone hurried back to their seats. Upon finding me, who was so stupidly late, she gave me a stern talking to, but I wasn't listening to it. Wasn't our old life supposed to start today? Something wasn't right. It was just strange. I was supposed to go back to my old fun life after yesterday. I had set foot in an incomparably mysterious world that was completely different from both my old life and my recent one. Yes, this was, without a doubt, a different world line than the one I'd been living in until now. There was no way such an absurd thing could be possible. But, unless it was true, I couldn't explain anything that just happened. In this classroom, I was surrounded by so many faces I knew, and yet I felt isolated. The cicadas sounded no different than they had before now, but they seemed somehow false. The air was parched and dry, too, making me think, was the air in Hinamizawa always this uncomfortable?
Hey, Rena.
What is it? We're in class.
About the festival yesterday. About when would you say I got there?
That's a good question, actually. Good job, Keiichi.
Huh?
To be honest, I was pretty excited afterwards, and I gobbled down some... I almost read that as cars. I gobbled down some cans of beer, not cars. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, but I don't quite remember some things. Okay, that's
Back in a minute. I have to check on my rice.
Okay, fair enough. That's actually a decent excuse, I think. For random babbling, it wasn't a bad excuse.
Ichi-kun, you said you couldn't come at first, didn't you? You called Michan's house about it, right?
That matched. I called Mion, and told her to take Sadako in my place, since I wouldn't be able to meet up with them due to things I had to do. I'm stuffed. We all decided while we were setting up Sorry. Whoops.
We all decided we were setting up for the festival that we'd invite Sadako-chan. I said there. We wanted to bring her out someplace where she couldn't see her uncle for a little while.
Sorry, I'm so used to last session where I was doing 90% of the voices. That was the same, too. Mion said that when I called her. That everyone had already decided to invite her.
And then we all went, me, Mi-chan, and Rika-chan, to Satoko-chan's house, and brought her out. Satoko-chan's uncle seems like a really mean person.
That part didn't matter. What I was trying to ask was...
Well, when did I meet up with you?
How could you forget that? Keiichi-kun, this is why I said to get a good night's sleep before the festival.
Whatever. When did I meet up with you?
Well...
At my sudden, threatening demand, Rena was at a loss for words. Oops, I shouldn't have rushed that. I told her I was sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was at the shrine grounds. It was unexpected. You were talking to Rika-chan, weren't you?
Yep. You were having a fun talk with Rika-chan in her Shrine Maiden outfit. And then Rena came up and said, "Oh, I'm taking you home."
I was talking to Rika-chan.
And I asked, Kei-chan, didn't you have something to do today? Then you pounded your chest and said it yourself. That letting loose at a festival was more important than some silly errand.
What's weirding me out right now is that Sadako hasn't appeared at all, even though she's apparently here.
Maybe we accidentally killed her. We mistook the giant man for the child. Whoops.
It happens to everyone.
Yeah, at some point or another, really. I didn't say that. I never said anything like that. I never even went to the shrine grounds yesterday to begin with. I never had the time to stop by a place like that. I went to dig the hole as soon as I woke up. I had a pretty hard time doing it. After that, I snuck into the school and made a call. I called him out and lay in wait. And then it started raining really hard. With that kind of downpour, the festival should have come to a halt. In other words, it ended then. From the time the festival started to when it ended, it would have been impossible for me to have swung by the shrine grounds. I was already there when Mion and the others dragged Sadako out and brought her to the shrine, and I was talking to Rika-chan. Then, where would Rika-chan say we met? The teacher went out to wash her hands, so I ran over to Rika-chan's desk and asked her directly. Oh, right. Okay, well in that case, I'm gonna take a break real quick. I'll be back shortly.
Hi, I just got back. Did I miss anything?
Keiichi's just trying to pin down his own location. Solidify his alibi. They're saying that he was talking with Rika at the shrine grounds when they all met up. And that's basically what Keiichi has been figuring out.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back.
So, you did not miss too much. Basically, he was questioning about what exactly happened. So, Mion and the rest of the club members got Sadako out of the house. Then, and apparently, when they got to the shrine grounds, Keiichi was already there, and he was talking to Rika-chan.
Rika-chan.
Oh yeah, also, good news everyone, I have curry.
Good news, everyone. I have just some white rice with some soy sauce on it.
I have toast.
Yeah, but
I
I
ate
have
ice cream and a
curry. It's
grilled
a
cheese.
Higurashi reference.
I've had a pit in my stomach today. I've already eaten a lot.
Oh yeah, by the way, Sagi, it's your line. So...
Oh, right. With you?
Yeah. We were talking to each other before Mion and the others got there, right? When did we see each other? When and where?
I don't know what you're trying to ask.
You know, yesterday I didn't really get enough sleep and my head's a bit fuzzy. I don't remember a thing.
It looked like Rika-chan bought into my babbling. Emphasis on it looked like. Anyway.
We saw each other when the mayor and the others came out of the assembly hall. You were in front of the ritual implement storehouse.
Huh? What? The ritual implement storehouse?
I'd never heard a building called that before. Or maybe I have, but at the very least, I wouldn't know where on the shrine grounds it was.
The mayor got real angry at you, since you shouldn't go near holy places without authority, remember? Keiichi, did you forget that too?
I was too scared to ask anymore. The more I asked, the more it became clear without any doubt that Keiichi Maibara was present at the Furude Shrine grounds during the Watanagashi festival. So normally I would say that Keiichi is being insane here, but I actually kind of agree for once. The clearer that became, the more doubts, no, fears I had. Who on earth was I yesterday? Whoever that was, he had a good time in my place, and managed to go the entire day without letting them notice I wasn't there. Oh, right. When did that person leave everyone? This morning, my mother got mad at me for having stayed out so late last night. Which meant that at the very least, that Keiichi Maibara hadn't come home while my mother was still awake. This is the best detective work Keiichi has ever done, I have to say. The festival would have been closed because of the downpour. If I recall right, when I went back into the house's storage room to get another shovel, I think the clock said 7. Since it was already raining hard by then, I was going to say, I do remember it actually being 7. Since it was already raining hard by then, the festival would have had to close down before 7. If I'd returned that early, I would have definitely run into my parents. Or, at the very least, they wouldn't have asked me when I got back last night. So, the Keiichi Maibara from yesterday, that meant he never went home. That meant the downpour happened, the festival was broken up, everyone left. But he didn't go back to the house. That means when I arrived at the natural conclusion, a wicked chill suddenly froze my spine and climbed up into my brain. That meant Keiichi Maibara was the same as Satoshi. Okay, I'm not sure I follow, actually. One day, he never went home. On the night of Watanagashi, he never went home. Oh, okay. Well, that's not quite accurate, but... The downpour interrupted the festival, and on the way home, he suddenly disappeared. And I, who was dealing with the corpse, went home without a problem. I was so tired, I wasn't even hungry, so I went up to my room without a sound and crawled into my futon. Who was I? That much was obvious. Keiichi Maibara. Keiichi Maibara was me. There may have been another one, but that doesn't negate the fact that I was Keiichi Maibara. Then, that other Keiichi Maibara was... what?
Sussy Baka imposter.
Yes, correct.
Whoa.
The voices of the cicadas, steadily filling the classroom, were beginning to bother me. Suddenly, I laid eyes on Sadako. Sadako's expression was dark as always. She seemed completely exhausted, and a life of agony she couldn't even imagine an ending to. What had last night been like for Sadako? Did she have fun with everyone and feel a little happier, if even for a moment? And when she went home, the end of her dream, she'd probably gone to sleep afraid of when her uncle would return. And then, this morning, her uncle hadn't come home. And then she went to school. Right now, she must have been still trapped by the rotten idea from which she couldn't be saved, that her uncle would need her when she got back. But you can rest easy, Sadako. Your uncle won't ever be coming back. I couldn't tell her it was because I'd killed him. When Sadako realized on her own that her uncle would never return, then that would truly be the end of the long, insane night. That's right. I didn't do anything wrong. That's a screenshot, yep. I did the best possible thing I could have as Sadako's Nini. Not an atom in my body regretted it. And look, calm down and think, Keiichi Maibara. From a certain point of view, isn't it convenient there was another Keiichi Maibara? I buried the corpse perfectly. A beginning wouldn't happen. But if worst came to worst, and it got out, and the investigation got to me, I now had a strong alibi, able to profess the fact that I'd been at the Watanagashi festival. But accepting something so creepy, and using it as an alibi. Still, if I proved I hadn't gone to the festival yesterday, it would do no good and a whole lot of harm. That was what left the really, actually bad aftertaste. You'll forget about it, Keiichi Maibara. Everything that happened before today. So just forget about the Keiichi Maibara who was there yesterday, too. Instead, let's just watch gently over Sadako for the day her smile returns. And the day that would mark the end of that insane, all too long night.
That's all for today, class. Please go straight back to your homes, everyone. President, if you would.
Everybody stand up, at attention. Bow. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye!
Goodbye.
Have a beautiful time. I thought about many things, and saw my thoughts dispersed by many other things. I didn't know whether or not that time had been spent worrying or daydreaming, but either way, it came to an end along with the class. Cheerfully, our classmates got their things and ran in for the hallway. Mion, Rena, and Rika-chan were packing up as well. What about Sadako? This whole day, she seemed deflated. Well, her uncle may not have returned last night, but she wouldn't have known he'd never return. How much I wanted to express that fact to her. Sadako packed up her pencil box and math workbook messily, and after a dark glance at the clock, heaved a sigh. Then went to leave the classroom. Then, suddenly, somebody placed a hand on her shoulder and stopped her.
What is it? I watered the plants like I was supposed to and got all the printouts done.
Her words, possessed by a persecution complex, hurt. I spoke loudly so everyone could hear.
Hey everyone! Why don't we have club today? It's been a while.
Sadako always had to tend to her uncle, so the club has been on hiatus. In our minds, our club was proof of a calm, peaceful life. By enjoying being together, I wanted to make Sadako realize her days of darkness were over.
Okay. I'll do it.
Meep.
Meep. Well, I mean, I don't mind. If it's okay with Sadako. Under a condition. That was important. With everything up to her, Sadako gave a worried look.
Come on, Sadako. It's been a long time. Let's go crazy.
Tally-ho, as they say.
Well, I'm happy you feel that way, but...
My uncle might already be home. Thus spoke her darkened eyes, her mouth unmoving. Also, just so everybody... Okay, no, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just trying to think about this.
No, say it.
No.
You have to say it now.
No, say it.
So Ooishi saw Sadako's uncle leave the house, right? He had a like a perimeter set up around the house, so he saw Teppei leave. But he never saw Teppei come back. So that should mean that it's not possible for last night to all just be a hallucination. Which means, and I am very excited to say this, I think there's almost a 100% chance that there was in fact another Keiichi Maibara, which is just fantastic, really. That's great. Oh man, wonderful. Anyway. Go ahead, Keiichi.
You've been choking on life every day for a while. You must be about to suffocate. It's not good for your mind or body. Once in a while, you've gotta have some fun.
Please, leave it alone. It's not like I don't want to do club again.
With one word, but... She looked down. Oh, wait, you should probably say this. With one word.
But...
She looked down.
Sadako, you know as well as anyone that it's more fun being with everyone, right? We're friends. That means we can spend time with each other. I mean, you had a great time at the festival yesterday with everyone, didn't you?
Renan nearly said something, but she was too late.
Keiichi-san, what are you saying?
My arm on her shoulder seemed to weigh her down, and she threw it off.
When exactly was I playing and having fun at the festival? The only one having fun was you, Keiichi-san.
Sadako doesn't really have a reason to back Keiichi up here, so that... I think that strengthens the idea that there's a sussy Baka imposter. Anyway.
Uh-huh.
I looked over to Mion for help, but now everyone was looking down. My instincts told me that Sadako hadn't gone to the festival. But Rena said it herself, that she went with Mion to Sadako's house to invite her.
Sadako-chan left on the way there. She didn't go to the shrine.
Why?
I realized the absurdity of what I just said with Sadako in front of me. She said her uncle was waiting at home, and she couldn't have fun by herself. We were in front of the shrine. Or when we were in front of the shrine.
We tried to stop her too. We told her her uncle said it was okay, and that he wouldn't get mad if she had a good time.
At some point, tears had begun welling up in Sadako's eyes. Sadako was so afraid of her uncle that she couldn't even allow herself time with her friends and went home. No, she was even afraid of letting herself have a good time with her friends.
Keiichi-san, you must have it nice, having a blast at the festival all night. They told me you went all out, didn't you? I'm very envious.
Smiling to herself, her tears began to fall.
I must provide for my uncle. It's completely different from you, with how you let your parents do everything.
Oops, that was Keiichi.
Sadako.
I'm so glad you enjoyed yourself at the festival. I'm so glad you had enough fun for me, too. I mean, I want to participate in the club, too. Making such a racket with everyone is so much fun. But right now, I can't.
Unable to withstand such violent emotion, a few teardrops slid down her cheek. But even though she was having such a terrible time, not once did she ever say that it was hard for her. It was a sad, obstinate bravery. But the days when Sadako had to feel like that were over. Sadako didn't need to endure it, to bear it anymore. She could forget all about it now, and smile. I was so frustrated at not being able to tell her that directly. Instead, I said something that I'm not sure I should have said before I thought twice about it.
He didn't come home, did he?
The words were deeply meaningful to me, but I didn't know if Sadako understood them.
Didn't come home. Who?
He didn't come home last night, did he? Your uncle?
What are you talking about, Keiichi-san?
Sadako shouted with all of her might. No! No! Wait! No! No way! Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna see if this actually happens or not first, but
When has he not been there? When?
Calm down. I mean, he didn't come home yesterday, did he?
I don't understand what you're trying to say, Keiichi-san.
Sadako, what are you talking about? I mean, that man,
I killed him. Killed him yesterday. Killed him for sure. And I buried him. Buried him whole. He could never have returned to his house.
Even yesterday, he was torturing me so much. He yelled at me, shouted at me. He found fault with everything I did. He threw the dinner I made him on the floor. He dumped his bowl of miso soup on me too. It was hot. It was messy. And I cleaned all of it up. I cleaned it. All of it. What? What?
Okay, so since Teppei actually did leave his house, according to Ooishi, this is ridiculous. There's an imposter Teppei? What?
why should only Keiichi have an imposter?
Oh my god. Oh my god. What is happening? Anyway, what? Our stories weren't matching up.
Night?
And this morning, when he woke me up to make him breakfast, he got so mad at me. He would have gotten mad at me whether I'd gotten up or not. What?
Sadako?
Ooh, that's scary.
The way she fades in.
Scary inverted Rika. This is what I see in my nightmares, by the way. Rika-chan went over to Sadako and said a few words of consolation. But Sadako angrily refused those words and thrust Rika-chan away.
Nini, come back. Come back. What?
Crying, Sadako slowly walked out into the hallway. After a moment, Rika-chan went after her. I couldn't stop thinking about the words Sadako had spoken while crying. I buried her uncle last night. But she said, this morning, that was impossible. I buried him last night, so she couldn't have seen her uncle this morning. Who was Sadako? At that point, I heard Mion's cold voice. Hey, Kei-chan, what did you mean about Sadako's uncle? I said too much. I let the emotions get the better of me.
Rena heard it too. You said Sadako-chan's uncle didn't come home.
Why? Why didn't he come home? Oh no! Oh no! No, it's all falling apart! Oh man!
To be fair, this isn't really Keiichi's fault.
Yes, it is!
That's strange. Sadako-chan's uncle was right there this morning, wasn't he? So why would you say he didn't come back? Come back.
Kei-chan, you've been saying weird things for a while. Suddenly, Mion and Rena started to speak in strange and creepy voices. Rude! What were they doing? What were they saying? Kei-chan, is it somehow inconvenient for you for Sadako's uncle to be around?
No, what are you talking about? Of course it would be better if Sadako's uncle wasn't here.
Yep. That's true, of course. If only he weren't here. Right?
That was a good laugh, thank you. Something wasn't right. Are you sure, Keiichi? I don't know, everything seems fine to me. Everything's going pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I would have did.
The next thing I knew, Mion and Rena were smiling thinly, and their eyes were dark and muddy in a way that I'd never seen before. And as our eyes met, that mud even seemed to fill the air. Sadako's uncle is an awful person, no doubt. I think we'd all be better off with him gone just as much as you do. But he's here. There's nothing we can do, right? Nothing we can do. Something's wrong. Something's clearly wrong here.
I can't believe Teppei had a Dio's best friend. Damn.
Are you sure he didn't have a pluripotent larva?
Yeah, he's gonna come back with a
Yeah,
fucking
he's gonna come back
shrimp.
with lost year's lenses and get his revenge on Keiichi.
I can't believe.
The next time he's gonna slap Sadako, it's gonna fire off a fucking missile.
I was gonna fire off
Yeah,
the
he got
plasma shrimp.
plasma. Oh my god, he got plasma shrimp. No, no. No, but wait. If we just keep beating him with a baseball bat, he can't use it. It all works out.
But he had 12 DOs.
No.
He's a cat.
No, he's playing with command and he made green scrap. No.
No, he took benthic bloom at the start of the run. No.
No. Okay, so for once, I actually have to agree with Keiichi. Something is very clearly wrong here. A lot of things are actually very wrong here, and I don't think it's in Keiichi's head anymore.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. It's not Casey's fucking fault if the entire world decides that your crimes didn't happen last night.
Okay, but no, that's
Like,
not what I
how
said
do
was
you
his
plan
fault.
around that?
I said that the part that's his fault was when he said this. This is absolutely his fault. No one made him do that. Anyway.
I made him do that, and the little Ryukishi in your computer did.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
He's just a puppet of the writer.
Oh, a puppet, you say? Like a puppet whose strings had not yet been cut? What the hell
Yeah, I'd say so.
was happening? Yeah, that's what I would have did. That's the metaphor. After a moment, a chilly, liquid-like feeling, as though my blood had been mixed with sherbet, crawled up my spine. Hasn't he used this exact metaphor in Chapter 1?
I feel like that would be tasty. It depends on the flavor of sherbet.
I'd say probably, like, strawberry. Anyway.
Yeah.
No
He
choice.
loves blood sherbet.
No choice. Wait,
I mean,
sorry, that's Keiichi.
Of course there isn't, but then Satoko will never...
If there's no choice, what would you do?
Rena was trying to prompt me to say more. There really was no choice, so I killed him. I killed him to protect Sadako.
That's...
He's like getting Ace Attorney cornered right now.
He's doing an Ace Attorney panic sprite, probably.
Yeah, he's like getting close to his breakdown. He has like the damage sprite. Anyway. Objection! Leave him alone. I think things will resolve themselves soon enough. I don't like that line. I don't like that line. Don't say that, Mion.
Mion said that because Keiichi's about to present his court investigator's badge. Because he's the detective.
Sadako-chan said her uncle was here, so he's here. He was here yesterday, and he's here today. She said so it's fine, right? Right?
Mion and Rena were speaking unbelievably dismissively. How could they be talking like that? Mion and Rena, they were my friends and were seriously worried about Sadako's abuse, weren't they? They would never blurt out something like this. And I definitely killed Sadako's uncle.
Excuse me.
No matter what Sadako or anyone else says, I wouldn't acknowledge it, because him being alive was impossible. There was no way he was alive. It was impossible. And yet, since Sadako herself said he was here, then he was alive. I didn't know why or how, but suddenly Mion and Rena were at my sides, standing there silently. Uh-oh, run fast! Keiichi, run away fast! Go, tally-ho! Let's go home, Kei-chan.
After we leave, Rena wants to go treasure hunting for the first time in a while. Michan is coming too.
Kei-chan, you should come along. Of course, you're not allowed to refuse. If words could freeze blood, then there was no doubt that they would have frozen me solid. I could hear it, a strange sound, like a thin layer of ice spreading, emanating from every joint in my body. Uh-oh. Guys, I think we're fucked. And with them closely at my sides, we left the school, as if they were police officers taking me away. They talked about silly things the entire way home, like they always did, but they always stood at my sides, as if to prevent me from escaping. This was strange. Everything about this day was strange. Actually, it had been strange ever since the previous night. Yes, thinking back, it'd been strange ever since killing Sadako's uncle. The creepy meeting with Takano-san was only the beginning. That insane night was still continuing. Yes, it still hadn't ended. What? What's wrong, Kei-chan? Why did you suddenly stop? Whoops.
Sorry. It's nothing.
When I stopped, it was distant, but I definitely heard them. An extra set of footsteps. That was proof. Proof that that insane night hadn't ended. Mion left where she usually did, and finally we came to my house.
Okay, Keiichi-kun. Wait here for me. Rena will pick you up. Will come to pick you up soon.
She's gonna go get her hatchet, isn't she? We're in trouble, guys. Uh-oh. What was it? She was inviting me along on one of her oversized garbage treasure hunts at the dam site, right? But why now? Mion coming along was strange, too. Mion may have accepted Rena's little hobby, but she hated fishing through garbage, so she'd never come with her before. And the location specifically being the dam site was a little creepy. You think? The dam construction site was completely outside the flow of everyday life. It was so remote that no one ever went there unless they thought to in particular. Nobody lived there, and there were no lights, so at night it got dark very quickly. I was being forcibly invited there. There was no reason. I had to fear Rena and Mion. Besides, wouldn't the trouble I'd make by refusing them be a pain to deal with? In that way, it didn't seem like going treasure hunting with them was a bad idea. But that insane night was continuing. Haven't the sirens of instinct been wailing in my mind for a while now? Warning me that Rena and Mion were strange. That I needed to be cautious. The warning sirens were so freaking loud, it felt like my head were split in two. Oh, so you're gonna say freaking now after all that swearing?
Rena. I actually have something to do.
Something to do? Like what?
I need to go check and make sure the body didn't surface.
Like what? It's just something I have to do, okay?
If you had something to do, why didn't you say it while Michan was here? I already told her to meet us at the dam site before we split up.
Rena was smiling, but her words made her discomfort clear. Okay, so here's the the explanation wherein Rena and Mion are not trying to kill him, they want to know what the fuck is going on. So they're going to the damn site where no one else goes. But, I don't know, it kind of seems like they want to kill him. Or torture him, perhaps.
Sorry, I just kind of missed the opportunity to say so.
Really?
You're lying, aren't you? You just made that up just now, you liar. That's what Rena's eyes said to me.
My head hurts. I might have a cold, so I wanted to get it checked out and get some medicine.
Really?
That wasn't really a lie. My head did hurt a little bit, so I wasn't lying. Rena, she couldn't figure out if my head hurt or not, just by looking at it.
Then, I guess that's that.
Wait a second! Wait! We're gonna go to the clinic, guys! And we're finally gonna reveal that Irie is a doctor, which we've known the whole time! Wow! Anyway, after staring me in the eyes for a few moments, she fired a sharp, needle-like stare at me. The tension in my body loosened, and I felt like my knees might buckle.
If you're going to the clinic, then you should go soon. Sometimes they close early.
Thanks. I'll do that.
Make sure you go, okay? To the hospital.
I will.
Go. For real.
I will.
It seemed like Rena had realized that I was going to refuse her invitation for a while now. With how serious she looks, she might actually call the clinic later to make sure I went. I couldn't say anything careless. Lying about getting checked out was just an excuse to decline a request in the first place. It didn't matter whether I actually went.
Yeah, I'll go. If you want, I can bring the bill tomorrow.
Oh, that would be good. Be sure to bring it, okay? Raina will look at it then.
Another tingle started crawling up my back. There was no ignoring it. Rena and Mion must have been monitoring my movements. That wasn't normal. Far from it. All of it was insane. I did what I did because I wanted my peaceful life back. But what? What on earth was all this? It was far from peaceful. Something had gone mad, leaving the world out of order. With the other, Keiichi Maibara. With those creepy footsteps I've been hearing. With Rena and Mion acting so curious. And above all, with him being alive. Where was I? Hinamizawa village, Shishibone. I knew that much. Was this really the Hinamizawa I knew?
Hey, Keiichi Maibara. Where is this?
I asked, whipping around before the front door to face the one who has been following in my wake all day. Nobody would have been there, of course. Keiichi Maibara, huh? That's what I just called him. The one who had been trailing behind me this whole time. That shadowing presence, always clinging to me, like it was constantly watching for the opportunity to change places. What an interesting way to phrase that. I'm gonna screenshot that for no reason.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Keiichi.
Man's being attacked by his own shadow.
Like I said, I've been saying this the whole time. He keeps bringing up his other self in capitals. Like, it is a real possibility. Yes, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Keiichi. Sorry, Dr. Keiichi and Mr. Maibara. There we go. Anyway.
Wait, that's not even right. What are you talking about?
Shut up.
Jekyll and Hyde is not their first and last name.
Shut up.
Jekyll Hyde is not a real name.
No, but this is
it's so stupid.
Listen. If he turns into the same person, then it counts. Then it works.
He just turns into himself, but he's at a different place.
He has like a whole magical girl transformation sequence, and then at the end, he's in the same clothes. He looks exactly the same. Anyway, footsteps always following me was another impossibility. It couldn't have been a ghost, so it was just impossible. So the strangeness must have been my ears, my head, or Hinamizawa. Everything I could see was the exact Hinamizawa I knew so well, and that gave me the creeps. Jinkies. Eventually, I decided to actually go to the clinic. I really didn't want to go outside, but a stronger feeling than that desire was the fear Rena might actually be keeping an eye on me to see if I went to the hospital. But before I went to the clinic, there was something I wanted to make sure of. It was at school. I pretended I'd forgotten something, and was going back to the classroom to pick it up. As soon as the thought crossed my mind, I was overwhelmed by paranoia. I was just going to the classroom, but I hated it so much, having to be so careful to fake it. After carefully verifying once more that nobody was watching, I went over to the locker. Yes, Satoshi's locker. I committed the crime with the bat I found in this locker, Satoshi's bat. And then, I had thrown the bat into the swamp. Which meant, the bat shouldn't have been inside. But, what if... This is actually good investigation. Good job, Keiichi. The bat was still in here. It was a very dreadful, incomprehensible idea. But if it was true, it would explain a lot. But that doesn't explain Ooishi, though. If the bat was in here, yesterday's events would have all been a delusion. No, an illusion. I hadn't killed anyone, and had gone to the festival. I had a great time rampaging about with everyone. See, another thing that makes me think that he wasn't completely delusional, though, is the fact that he had such a rough time actually carrying out the murder. Like, it did not seem very fun for him. You know? I can't imagine if he was, like, having a delusion about it, that he would go through all the suffering.
No, Ted, he's an 80s kid. He lived before instant gratification.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I felt like that joke was really funny.
Hold on, I'm gonna read this out loud.
Maybe not.
So Inferno has an interesting theory. He says, what if this presence he's feeling is Chapter 1 Keiichi, and the presence Chapter 1 Keiichi felt as this chapter's Keiichi? That would be fucked up if true. Like, what if two guys were on the moon and one of them killed the other with a rock?
That would be fucked up.
Anyway, it would prove that Keiichi Maibara was really me. Proof that I was only under some strange assumption that I had killed Sadako's uncle. Proof that it had all been a wild fantasy. That would explain everything. Nothing happened yesterday. I had just gotten mad, unable to separate my shocking, uncle-killing dream from reality. That would explain everything. Would it? Would it really? If the bat was here, would I be able to accept that reality? If it was here, nothing will have changed. If it was here, it would just mean I'd gone crazy. preparing myself for the worst, I opened the locker door. I was actually scared of opening it slowly, so I threw it open with a bang. And just like the first time, the choking scent of smell and sweat, like a stale towel, came flowing out.
The choking scent of smell?
Yes.
What the fuck does that mean?
I feel like that's either a typo or they accidentally omitted a word.
I think maybe he's just saying it's smelly. It's a smelly smell that smells smelly. There was a baseball uniform. And some miscellaneous other things, like notebooks. There was also a shoe pouch. Get to the point, Keiichi, come on! And as for the bat, it wasn't here. It was how I left it when I took the bat out. There was no doubt. Yesterday really happened. But no, wait, he took the bat out the day before, right? So it's still possible that he's delusional, but... Now that I knew, based on other things that's happened, I'm just gonna go with the assumption that it wasn't a delusion. For now. Now that I knew I wasn't a lunatic, I felt relieved. But at the same time, if I wasn't the crazy one, then Hinamizawa was, and that was evidence of a reality I found just as difficult to accept. There was noise, somehow, creeping into everything I saw, and the world was losing a tiny bit of color. So what did I know about last night now? Now that I'd made sure the bat wasn't there, I didn't need to be here anymore. Shall I go? For real. To the hospital. I sure hope there's no people I've met there in the hospital. It was my first time going to the hospital, but from what I've heard, it wasn't far from school. My mom had told me where it was. A big, easy-to-see road went straight there. I went past the shopping street, made a turn. It wasn't overly hard to spot the sign with the Irie Clinic written on it. There was one other person, an older man, there in the air-conditioned waiting room. I think it's your time to shine, Grumble. I went up to the counter and told him it was my first time here. The man behind the counter glanced at the clock and said there would be a short wait. It was almost 5. Clinic hours would be ending soon. As I sat in this unfamiliar waiting room, isolated from everyone, and let myself feel the cool air, I actually felt relieved. What should I tell the doctor when he comes? I could tell him I had a cold, but I was the very picture of health. Actually, I wanted him to check my head. I wanted someone to confirm for me whether I was really sane or not.
Keiichi Maebara-san, please come into the examination room.
Alright, well, he finally revealed that he's a doctor, even though we already knew this whole time he was a doctor. Nice. Huh? The voice from the other side of the examination curtain. I thought I'd heard it somewhere before. Gee, I wonder who this could be. Wow, it's Irie? Wow!
Hello! This is the first time we've seen each other here.
Is this a new outfit, by the way?
Yeah.
I think so.
Hold on, let's see.
I don't know why.
It
looks like he has
kind of
boobs.
looks like he has cleavage. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything, but it seems like everyone else also saw that. But just out of curiosity.
Was this...
Meh.
I feel like this is like... like they originally drew this character to be a woman, but they just decided, oh, it's a man.
Possibly, yes. Anyway.
Coach, you were a doctor?
Now that you mention it, he does seem to know his way around when he was looking at my shoulder in the Nerfus office.
Nervous.
Nerfus office.
Nurse's
Nerfus
office.
office.
Sorry.
Nerfus office.
I'm
We have
sorry,
to
I'm
beat him
sorry,
up
I'm
now.
sorry. Now that you mention it, He did seem to know his way around when he was looking at my shoulder in the nurse's office, not the nervous office. Keiichi is pretty nervous right now, though. It would make sense if he was actually a doctor. Alright, guys, we all need to, like, gasp in shock at the shocking revelation. Alright, 3, 2, 1.
Whoa.
Whoa! Who could have seen this coming?
I like how you did the countdown and you were the latest. Like, was not even fucking close.
That was Discord delay. Sorry, not much I can do about that. Come to think of it, our teacher called him Irie-sensei, didn't she?
Well, yes. I'm more or less a doctor here. Doctors have it really good, you know. You get to see and touch all that young, silky smooth skin.
Jesus Christ. Can we kill him?
No.
I could steal their agency with a suspicious injection and have them be my personal maids.
Suspicious injection? Is that a Higurashi
Wow,
reference?
suspicious
He-
injection?
he
Whoa,
has the-
syringe!
He has the drug that turns you into his personal maid.
Oh no! That's much worse than a drug that makes you kill yourself.
Alright, name for the episode. The drug that turns you into Irie's personal maid.
It's a very...
That's the most
Specific.
irrelevant thing that's happened this episode.
Fate worse than that. Thank you very much. Just seeing that made my cold go away. I'll be leaving now. Polite bow.
Whoa, wait, Maibara-san. A joke, it was a joke. Come, sit down, and let me take a look at you. I'll need to use my stethoscope, so show me your silky smooth chest, Maibara-san.
Please stop! Please stop!
I'm just reading the words.
I know, I'm saying to the author. Please, I beg of you. For some reason, I felt really relieved. What reason would that be? After that insane night, as much as I thought everything had gone crazy, Coach was here doing the same thing he always did. I was very happy for that.
You don't seem to have a cold. Actually, those scrapes and cuts all over you seem to be the painful thing. Don't tell me you were playing in the bushes with short sleeves and shorts. I mean, I can't say for sure you haven't been infected with tetanus.
As I was chasing that man last night, I kept being scraped by bits of trees. I didn't realize I had so many cuts.
You went a little too crazy at the festival yesterday. Enjoy that while you're young.
And once again, I apparently went to the festival.
Coach, did you go too? To the festival?
Yes, of course I did. I may be a doctor, but I'm also on the Watanagashi Executive Committee.
Did you see me there?
This coach was the same coach that I'd always known, and I felt like I could trust him more than my weird friends. Okay, rude. Just because they want to take you to the damn site and probably get Rena's hatchet before that. That doesn't mean that they're weird friends. That's just the normal amount of... Anyway. So I asked.
Well, actually, I was drinking in the main tent with the chairman and the others the whole time. I didn't go out to see the festival at all. I don't think I saw you.
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh.
That was a strange question. Perhaps you didn't sleep well last night? You can't do that. You have to sleep and eat well to grow up fine.
Coach let out a laugh. He didn't laugh in an unnatural way, like Mion and Rena did. Coach was okay. He's the coach from the world I knew. He wasn't someone from this abnormal world.
Well, this all might seem a little weird to you, but I want you to hear me out without laughing.
I murdered Tepe.
Yes, go ahead. I greatly welcome any shy, bashful worries you might have as you come into puberty.
Why do you have to have a star there?
Star!
Could it be possible that I have an identical twin?
Coach hadn't expected that question at all, and couldn't say anything for a moment. But then, he smiled calmly and quietly answered.
This is just superstition. But I've heard before that everyone has two people in the world who look just like two other people in the world who look just like them. If there was, I'd certainly like to meet him, though. Also, there are plenty of fairy tales where a person's double appears. The German ones about doppelgangers are probably the most famous.
Doppelgangers?
Yes, they look exactly like another person. Apparently they herald misfortune. And if you meet one, you're sure to die soon. I think that's how it went.
When you meet them, you're sure to die soon. The story ended directly in death, plain and simple, and it made my spine tingle. Coach wasn't saying it to scare me, though. He was just offering a casual anecdote, but that made it feel all the more real.
Have you ever heard of one of those things showing up in Hinamizawa?
You know what? Maybe Keiichi is the protagonist. He's actually doing detective work this time.
What? Well, I can't say that I have.
Coach must have thought he was being teased, so he laughed in an exaggerated way. But when I didn't smile along with him, his laughter steadily grew fainter.
I'm sorry. Well, I was sort of being serious.
No, I apologize for laughing. Was there something you were worried about?
I wondered if I should tell him. Then, after resolving myself one final time, I slowly spoke.
I didn't go to the festival yesterday.
Is that right? Well, there will be one next year. And then you can...
That's not what I meant. I didn't go to the festival, but according to everyone else, I was there. Could that even be possible?
After blinking his eyes in amazement, Coach thought seriously about what I was trying to say. And he answered, choosing his words carefully.
Let me make sure I have this straight. My Barakun, you went to the Watanagashi festival, but don't remember it. Am I right?
I was trying to say something completely different, but I suppose any sane person would come to that conclusion. That night, Keiichi Maibara was actually at the festival, but I was saying I didn't go. That obviously meant my memories of going there had failed me. But that was absolutely impossible. That vivid act I had committed during the downpour couldn't possibly have been an illusion. All these scrapes on my body prove it, as does the fact that the bat wasn't in the locker. It actually doesn't, but that second part doesn't anyway.
No, it's not it, Coach. I really didn't go to the festival.
Please don't take offense, Maibara-san. Have you ever had an experience where you were suddenly somewhere unfamiliar, and you couldn't remember why?
No, and I didn't lose my memories or anything. Because while the festival was going on, I was definitely doing something else. It wasn't like I was asleep or unconscious or anything.
You're certain you were doing something else? I know I'm being awfully rude, but Are you sure you're not mistaken?
I know I'm not. My memories are clear as day, and they were real.
During the festival, you weren't at the shrine, and you were doing something somewhere else. Can you definitely prove that?
That's right. Taking it through brought me to this. There was only one way to prove that I really wasn't at the festival yesterday. And that was to show that there was no doubt I had killed her uncle. Coach saw me struggling to answer, and his eyes looked a little cold. I guess they would. After all, from Coach's perspective, I was just a weirdo sputtering nonsense.
Would you like to lay down? Maybe you should relax and take it easy for a bit.
Sorry, I didn't really come here to lay down.
You seem to be a little worked up. Why don't I give you a sedative that'll let you sleep for a bit? That way...
I'm not being strange.
Debatable. I realized Coach was treating me like a deviant, so I raised my voice.
I apologize if I've offended you, so please calm down.
I definitely didn't go to the festival. That's the truth.
I understand. So please calm down and take a deep breath.
No, you don't understand at all.
Coach was stunned and stared in stupefaction.
Death by stupefaction?
It's a
Is that a
reference!
Umineka reference?
Oh my god, it's a reference to Umineka! There is also just a track called Stupefaction, by the way, so you could have said that.
Yeah, but that one's kind of bad. So.
It's a fine, it's an atmospheric track. Anyway.
I do understand, Maibara-san. You didn't go to the festival yesterday. Is that right? I believe you.
Coach jotted down a brief note on his records. He does not believe Keiichi. He was writing it in what? Wait, so he did say hello as in German.
What?
No, wait! What? I called it! What?
What are you talking about?
Remember when Tepe said hello when Irie came over? And I said, isn't that German? And then everyone was like, no, other languages say that.
Yeah.
I think we were just gaslighting you.
Oh, okay. So you were just fair enough.
Fun to do that for fun.
Okay, well, I called it. Anyway, he was writing it in German so that his patient wouldn't know what it said. But I could make a good guess as to what he wrote.
You won't believe me until I tell you everything I was doing at the time, will you?
No, I believe you. Please sit down.
He does not believe him at all. Before I sat, I tilted my head back a little. The blood in my face all drained out, and I quieted down. After taking a deep breath, I made sure that I was calm now.
It would have been impossible for me to be at the festival, because at the time, I was...
Should I tell him or not? I really didn't want to go on living like this, feeling this horrible. And I said them. The final, fatal words.
Because I was killing Satoko's uncle at the time.
I could smell the concrete in the room. I could feel the air around us sharpen. Nobody moved. Only the sound of the clock ticking told us time hadn't stopped. With his mouth wide open, Coach even forgot to blink for a little while.
You killed Satoko-chan's uncle?
Yeah. It's fine now, Keiichi Maibara. Don't hesitate. Admit it with all your strength. He's allowing a beginning to occur! No!
Yes. Last night, I did it. I killed him.
I spoke clearly and fluidly. I could easily tell that Coach's mind had gone completely blank.
Why would you... No. That was a foolish question.
I believed it was the most direct method of saving Sadako, so I carried it out. I don't have any regrets.
I see.
Coach smiled thinly and nodded a bit.
So I couldn't have been at the festival.
I left the brightness of my house for the darkness of the outside. After that, I dug holes, made phone calls, and had my hands full. And then I attacked him, killed him, and buried him. It was pouring hard at the time. The festival started that evening, but was suspended due to the rain. There were no gaps in my memories. From the late afternoon until it started to rain, there was no time for me to have possibly gone to the festival.
And those wounds, are they from that?
Yes. There's a road through the forests near Satoko's house. I attacked him there. He ran, but I chased him, and finally killed him near the road that leads to town.
Is that true?
Grog.
Grok! Is Sadako's uncle really dead, Grok? Killing her uncle, it wasn't some wild fantasy?
Is Teppei really dead?
No.
No,
Good day.
Hinamizawa.
I could tell that Coach didn't believe me, so I spoke slowly, not letting myself grow excited.
It's true. I killed him with Satoshi's bat. I threw it and the uncle's motorbike into the swamp. I dug a hole, killed him, and buried him. I did it all by myself.
The Toko-chan's uncle drove past you on a motorbike, did he? Then you predicted he'd do that and just waited?
I assumed he wouldn't be leaving his house that day, so I lied to him over the phone to get him out.
You called him. But your house is so far away from Satoko-chan's. I wouldn't think you'd be able to make it there so soon after calling him.
I used the phone closer to where I was going to attack him, the one at school.
But, Maebara-san, it was Sunday. Wouldn't the school have been locked up?
Whoops. Keiichi.
Forest Ranger happened to go inside for a bit. I slept in when I had the chance.
After that, Coach grilled me on a few different things regarding the incident. He made sure to question me carefully, looking for any contradictions in my account.
I'll believe you. What you did yesterday doesn't seem like a dream.
I explained everything, including minor details that only someone who had actually committed the act could explain. Oh, hey. Just like that deviant. I could, of course. You know, the one who died in prison. I could, of course.
Oh, I thought you meant the one who was Art.
No. It was only yesterday. Coach realized that my story had no expedient coincidences or too convenient details that would have existed in a daydream or delusion, and finally seemed to want to believe me.
So, do you still think I went to the festival and lost my memory?
Coach slowly shook his head.
everyone in class said that I was at the festival yesterday. Is that even possible?
You know,
No.
I was just gonna say, this is reminding me of something I heard about recently, where basically, I don't remember what the exact details were, but some guy in a small town got murdered, and the small town just covered, like, everybody knew about it, and they just didn't say anything for like 50 years. And I think that's kind of based. Anyway, it's a Higurashi reference, so.
No, it's not. Your classmates probably mistook you for someone who looked very similar.
Whoops.
Then, given how group psychology works, everyone just assumed that you had been at the festival.
They couldn't have mistaken me. Mion and all the rest said they were spending time with Keiichi Maibara. It was much more than just having mistaken someone else for me. But saying that out loud would just confuse Coach. He spoke to me in whispered tones.
Do you feel guilty at all?
It didn't sound like he was criticizing me. And even if he had, I would have flatly said the same thing.
I don't. I did it so that I could return to the peaceful days that he'd stolen from us. So I plan to forget all about having killed him and live my life as usual. Once Satoko's regular smile returns, the one from before he showed up, everything will finally be over.
Any chance that someone witnessed the crime?
I don't think so. If someone had seen me, I would have been arrested already.
I am a doctor. My job is to save lives. So I cannot make any statements to the effect of condoning the taking of another's life. So instead, I will say this.
Oh! Hi! How's it going? Coach slowly rose and placed a hand on my shoulder.
For saving Sadako-chan, I thank you.
Coach's eyes started shedding warm tears. When I looked at him, I started to feel some tears of my own. I didn't know what I was crying for, and so, for a little while, the two men in the room fought back their tears.
But it's strange.
What is?
I'm sure I killed him, and yet he seems to have returned home alive.
Coach's expression immediately sharpened.
Depending on the situation, there are many ways that mere unconsciousness can look like real death to a layperson. Do you think it's possible he was just knocked out?
I mean, you don't need most
I think
of your
Satoko
brain.
would
You only need 10% of it.
Mentioned it.
His
Even
skull
if-
was concave.
Listen, a lot of people's skulls are concave. It's normal. Happens to
I
the
wouldn't
best
say
of us.
it's normal.
It happens to the best of us.
I didn't check for a pulse, but I'm pretty sure I did him in.
Can I ask you to reproduce the situation in which you attacked him, Maibara-san?
Coach rolled up a Health and Fitness Week poster nearby and offered it to me to represent the bat.
Oh, Tepe returns completely unharmed, but his sprite now has a Tyler 1 working headphone in it.
Listen, like I said, you only use 10% of your brain anyway. You don't need most of that stuff. So it's okay. Yeah, that's what I would have did. Though, I may have been lost to the emotions of a beast that night. I remembered in detail the number of times I swung the bat, the angles I had swung from, and the force I had applied. Using Coach as a stand-in for the uncle, I reproduced them over, one by one.
And when he tripped and fell, I bashed him in the top of the head, like this. When I did, it felt different from the other strikes. I thought I'd cracked his skull.
Bashed him in the top of his head.
Yeah, innit?
In it. Indeed. Coach was calmly analyzing this information, using the places I'd struck and the situation at hand to find out what state the uncle's body had been in.
I wasn't totally sure he was dead, so I hit him a few more times after he fell.
Did he react at all?
At first, I sort of felt his body jolting with each hit, but eventually that stopped too, and he didn't react at all.
Coach folded his arms like a ransona and said, a few times. And then,
Like a Ransona.
he spoke.
Like a red
Like a Ransona.
He's dead. There's not much doubt about it.
He didn't just look like he was?
I can't say very much from just your story, Maibara-san, but I think it's almost certain. Besides, you buried the corpse in the mud, and that took you quite a bit of time, right? Let's say it took you 30 minutes. That would mean he was buried under the muddy water for those 30 minutes. If you don't breathe for that long, your brain will die no matter what.
You mean, even ignoring how hard I hit him, he would have definitely have died while I was burying him?
That's right. It's impossible to stay alive buried underground for 30 minutes.
Possible. You're right. But Sadako, she says he's alive.
Coach, a doctor, just gave his stamp of approval that he was dead for sure. That made it seem all the more unfair that he could still be among the living.
Okay. Maibara-san, this is a really horrible idea, but is it possible that the person you killed wasn't actually her uncle?
Huh?
He's right. That could be why. It cleared up the inconsistency of my definitely having killed someone, but him still being alive.
There's no way. I mean, we were both at Satoko's house when he was bringing his alcohol inside, and there was a man who stuck his face out the window to look. It was him, right? That was Satoko's uncle, right?
Yes, you're not wrong. It was that man.
She have had more than one uncle or something?
Not one that I've ever heard of. It's just him.
Could you tell me what he looked like?
Well, his height first. He was about 175 centimeters, maybe a little taller.
In order to eliminate the worst possibility, that I'd killed someone else, Coach began to thoroughly compare what the man in his mind looked like with what I told him the person I killed looked like. But no matter how in-depth the description went, none of the characteristics differed. The uncle's traits, according to Coach, were all exactly the same as the person I'd killed. But those traits were all extremely vague, and they weren't particularly distinct at a glance.
Could you... Well... Is there anything else about him that would let us identify him for sure?
Now that you mention it, I've never seen it, but I believe Satoko-chan once said a long time ago that he had a tattoo of a tiger or something on his back.
Tattoo?
Is that really surprising? He hangs out with street thugs.
He hangs out with well-spoken thugs.
True.
So it is a bit surprising.
That was really important. Not everyone had a tattoo. If I found a tiger tattoo on the back of the man's corpse, it would be proof I killed the right one. At the moment, though, there was one other thing that would verify this. To go to Sadako's house and see for myself the uncle that had returned home despite having died. But that was far more terrifying than digging up the body and looking at its back. Without even looking at the tattoo, I knew for sure the one I'd killed had been Sadako's uncle. I cracked his head open and killed him. And yet, he'd gone back home. There wasn't any misunderstanding, or even a shadow of a doubt in my mind about having killed him. And yet, it was impossible for him to exist. Kind of like how Keiichi Maebara had been at the festival, despite it being impossible. That small commonality made me feel as though a faint but bizarre force was permeating this insane Hinamizawa.
I wonder what on earth could have happened. Despite you not going to the festival and killing Satoko-chan's uncle, you were at the festival, and the uncle you killed is alive.
None of this makes any sense. When I look at everything that way, it's almost like I'm just having a nightmare. There's no killer at all.
I'm gonna screenshot this one for later, just in case.
But it's the truth. The sensation as I used my own hands and a bat to bash him again and again. It was no illusion or dream.
Coach let out a slow sigh, then after looking at the clock, got up.
Let's go over this all a little more seriously. If you'll excuse me, I'll go put on some tea. Clinic's about to close, after all. I need to let the other employees leave.
Coach stood up and went out into the hallway to prepare the drug that makes you kill yourself tea, leaving me alone. The clock was about to strike 6. I was at the festival, and the uncle I'd killed was alive. Had I really committed murder yesterday? The only whisper of a fact that proved it happened was the absence of that bat from Satoshi's locker. In any case, I was glad that Coach had taken my nonsense seriously. I just confessed to murder. Normally that would frighten a person away. But Coach didn't run, he cried with me. I was glad he did. Like so, my tension smoothly melted away, and I suddenly realized I really had to...
Go ahead, say it.
I didn't
Say the
expect
word.
Let me take off my mic for a second, hold on, let me just get real close like this. Like so, my tension smoothly melted away, and I suddenly realized I really had to urinate.
that. He just goes to Tepe's grave and pisses on it.
True! We could also go to Margaret Thatcher's, that's a popular spot. I thought to use the Margaret
based.
Thatcher's
If he
grave.
needs to urinate right now, the pilgrimage there might be a bit excessive.
It's worth it in the end, though.
Pilgrimage.
Wouldn't you say?
Is it locked? Is it locked?
I thought to use the restroom while Coach had stepped out. Do you think that's a good time for a quick break? I mean, if Keiichi's gonna go use the restroom, we may as well. Yeah, I'm gonna call that a
Okay.
5-minute break.
Enjoy your
be right
piss.
back.
But the door's locked. You can't go piss.
Enjoy urinating. you guys enjoy urinating?
I don't believe in piss.
Why?
Yeah, I'm anti-piss myself.
No proof.
No proof? No proof of what?
There's no piss. It's all blood.
Oh. Oh wait, I get it. It's yellow because it's like ichor, the blood of the gods.
Well, it's actually Icar, one of the 4 essential...
It's no, it's Icar, like
what the fuck is it
Icarus from Scroll Vicarian Flight from Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
What's that old, like, alchemical theory? The 4... What was it? Black bile, yellow bile, ichor, and blood?
Something like that.
What's the black bile we got?
I'm more of a yellow bile guy myself.
Humorism, that's right, it's humus. What kind of fucked up tests do you think medieval doctors conducted to get black bile consistently out of people?
They stuck a lot of
I
leeches
enjoyed my
on them.
piss.
Okay, is Inferno here? Okay, so everybody's done with their piss. We can just start then.
Yes, Hinamizawa.
I thought to use the restroom. Well, Coach had stepped out. Very wisely, I might add. No bias. There was one across from the waiting room. As soon as I left the room, I saw Coach and 2 male doctors. Well, good that he recognizes that doctors can be women as well. Wearing white clothing, standing in the shadows of the hallway nearby. I didn't particularly intend to eavesdrop or anything, but I was quite surprised upon noticing how uneasy they seemed. I hid behind the wall and quietly listened in.
What do you mean you didn't intend to eavesdrop? What?
Well, he didn't intend to eavesdrop when he left the room. He was just taking a piss. But now he's like, okay, I'm eavesdropping now.
Eavesdropping while pissing?
No, he's not pissing anymore. He's just gonna go in a
can't-
trance.
He's multitasking.
You think with Keiichi's fire hose he can hear what the fuck they're saying?
Damn, Keiichi.
He can't do both.
You frying chicken in there? It seemed like Coach was giving directions to the 2 doctors.
You can't eavesdrop over that minigun pisser. Like tea? I'll make some.
Mix in the sedative you think best for the occasion. Cover the taste with milk and sugar.
He may grow suspicious at the sudden onset of drowsiness. It's possible he may get agitated and become violent. It's hard.
We will handle that. How many male staff are still here?
1 mountain dog, including us. 3.
1 what?
What does that mean?
That's his code
no,
name.
Why
no
is
joke.
it capitalized?
No joke. What does that mean? Like, I'm not.
It's a mountain dog.
It's a dog from the mountains. That sounds like...
That's
like...
gotta be slang for something that, like, got translated weird.
No, I don't
the
think
Japanese
so.
version is
We
Yamainu.
might
which is
get to figure
literally
out
just
in the next
mountain
few
dog.
lines.
Okay, no, hold on. So... That sounds like... This is just a ballpark guess, but that kind of sounds like... I don't know if the Japanese would do this, but to me this sounds like something that a military unit would be named in the US. I don't know if the Japanese have similar naming conventions for that, but...
I think they just have numbers.
Okay, well in that case, my guess is off. But this is very suspicious. Let's keep that in mind going forward. What? What was all this? Great question, Keiichi! I don't fucking know anymore. I think I was already agitated, despite what Coach said. Was that it? Was it just a casual conversation? And it was only sounding unbelievable to me? Coach said he would bring some black tea and left the room. And then, in the shadows, he was telling his subordinates to put some kind of sleeping powder in the tea? Plus, they were getting extra help. in case I thought the sudden sleepiness was suspicious and started getting violent? Hey, wait, Keiichi Maibara! Calm down, calm down. There's no way something this stupid could be happening. The fact that it's capitalized does make me think that it's like the name of some group at the very least. I mean, he was genuinely listening to my story, and he even cried with me. I thought he was the one person in Hinamizawa who would understand. This was...
There are signs of fabrications or falsehoods, and his memories of yesterday in particular are completely confused. He can no longer tell truth from falsehood. It's quite similar to multiple personality disorder. But as for how quickly his mental disorder emerged, it's just not normal. Maybe it's inborn, or perhaps there were signs of it before he moved here. I'd like to take a look at my records of him staying at a mental hospital before he moved here. In any case, I want him to take a quiet nap.
The two doctors nodded deeply.
I should probably contact my Barakun's parents too. Though I can't think of what to tell them. Please find his home phone number for me.
So, the way Irie is talking here makes me think that whatever the mountain dogs are, they're probably not the culprits, which is weird. I'm not sure what's going on anymore, to be honest. That's great. Anyway, my eyes, still moist, began to shed tears once more. This was too cruel. I really thought he had actually understood and had believed what I told him. But now, from the other side of that wall, he was bluntly treating me like a crazy person. I believed you. I believed you. I had let down my guard because I thought you were the only ally I had left after that insane night. Was that a lie? All that about thanking me on Sadako's behalf, were you just pretending in order to keep me blockaded? My tears fell to the floor in frustration. I was an idiot. I was such an idiot for believing that bastard. I heard footsteps approaching the doctors. A man in a dress shirt with no tie came running up. Bureau staff?
Dr. Irie, it's terrible. They found Takano-san.
Nakano-san? Wait, where?
Well, apparently they discovered her burned corpse in the mountains in Gifu.
She's dead? Takano-san?
The men, all surprised, exchanged glances. Dead? Takano-san? Hey, wait, so then, does that mean when I cursed her wishing for her death, that wish was granted? No.
What do you mean, burned corpse? Was it an accident?
According to the statement from the Prefectural Police Department, the possibility is extremely high that she was murdered.
As I cried, I laughed quietly. Serves
None
you
of it
right.
came through, by the way.
I
guess
don't
we
know
can
what's...
put it in the mod.
Hold on. Let me check my settings. I should have everything disabled.
I feel like it's Discord that rides the short bus here.
Yeah, it has to be, right? Hold on, let me test this. I'm just gonna turn off everything. Let me try this line
You're so
again.
quiet.
Oh,
He's so far away.
hold on, let me turn on the automatic gain control again. Maybe that was the one thing that was helping.
Come back!
Hello,
He can do
testing,
ASMR
1, 2,
videos
3.
now.
Is my
That's
voice
better.
working? Okay, cool. Let me try this again. As I cried,
There we go.
I laughed quietly. Serves you right. Serves you right. If I hadn't run into that woman, my murder would have been perfect. But she just had to come driving up to me and tried to coerce me like that. I regretted not having killed her on the spot, but now she was dead anyway. My curse, my wish for her demise, it was fulfilled. Serves you right. Serves you right.
He really hates Takano-san in his timeline.
I like how he's listening in on a conversation about how fucking crazy he is, and he's like, wait, they're talking about me? I'm crazy? What? And then he's going on an insane fucking rant immediately after.
Okay, he is crazy, but I still think he did kill someone.
Risa-san died, and Takano-san died? What on earth could be happening in Hinamizawa? Don't tell me that this was all Oyashiro-sama's curse for this year.
Who?
What? Did I say words?
No, just... They
The
said,
Risa?
Yeah, Risa-san. Who the
Okay.
fuck? Like, hello, let this curse be real, Coach said. Wait, sorry, you can say that.
Like hell I'll let this curse be real.
Coach said.
I
I don't know. Ryukishi does his own thing sometimes. Everyone present just nodded as Coach cursed at no one in particular. Yes, maybe it wasn't Oyashiro-sama, but this was definitely a spell, a curse. I wished for her to die, so she did. If this wasn't just a coincidence, and she died because I wished for it, then you'll die next, Coach. You betrayed me. You pretended to believe me, but deep down you thought I was a madman. I wonder why he thought that. You looked down on me with all that pity in your eyes.
For now, get the black tea ready. I'll bring it inside. I don't think he'd let anyone besides me be alone with him.
Shit! 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 What do I do? What do I do, Keiichi Maibara? This time, I heard the voice of a nurse. Dr. Irie? Oh, there you are. You have a phone call.
I'm a little busy at the moment, so please tell them I'll call back. Who's it from?
A Mr. Ooishi from the Okinomiya Police Department! Yay!
Sheesh. What bad timing. Alright, I'll answer it.
Coach left to go answer the phone. The other men headed towards the room with the teapot to make the black tea, like Coach had ordered them to. Fortunately, Coach having to take that phone call meant there would be extra time for me to act. I had to decide what to do now. Would I let him make me drink the sedative-infused tea, or be held down and thrown into a mental hospital? Nothing would come from starting a brawl here. They had more people anyway, and they were all bigger than me. If it came to a fight, I didn't stand a chance in hell. If I couldn't win against them, then there was only one thing left to do. Run. Adrenaline suddenly rushed into my brain, and my body started to move with keen instinct, like it had on that night. My surface temperature quickly cooled, and the transmission routes between my cells enlarged. What?
He has multiple brain cells?
Using 360-degree visual information, I searched for an escape route.
He's got herbivore FOV.
He's navigating the
No,
3D
but he's a
environment.
carnivore, remember? I would open the window
No,
behind me.
He can be an herbivore as a treat. He can be one or the other.
No,
depending
that would
on
make
what
him an omnivore.
No! One or the other.
Listen, it depends on whether you're a carnivore or a vegetarian. It depends on how you're feeling that day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today is vegetarian day.
No, today is carnivore day. I would open the window behind me. Outside was a parking lot. There were no cars. A little beyond here was the bicycle I had taken to get here. I determined this would be the quickest method of escape. I approached the window swiftly, but with little sound, to raise as little suspicion as I could. With the speed and silence of a shadow, like I had on that night I chased her uncle. I unlocked the window and opened it up. A cool evening breeze wafted in. I stuck my head out and looked over the parking lot again. Nobody in sight. No need to hesitate. I quietly called outside and closed the door behind me. I held my breath and listened carefully. Nobody seemed to have realized I'd run. I looked around. Then, I jumped onto my bicycle and zoomed away. The pedals clattered under the force. Oh no, he didn't get the bill! Guys!
Oh,
They're gonna kill
Renna's
him
gonna
tomorrow.
Fucking rake him over the coals.
The pedals clattered under the force. Did my bike always creak like this? Did the pedals always whine every time I pushed down on them? My bike wasn't the only one crying, though. My tears fell as the wind cut through them.
You accidentally took Tomatake's bike.
Well, no, you see, because that couldn't be Tomatake's bike, because there's no way Tomatake and his bike could be in different places in Hinamizawa.
No.
My tears fell as the wind cut through them. They rode the breeze and scattered behind me. Ugh. I hate this. I hate this. I'm not the crazy one. Hinamizawa is. How dare you treat me like a madman? Die! Die! Just fucking die already! I believed you. I believed you! Ah! I'd gone to the hospital in order to escape Rena and Mion's invitation. But the reality that was waiting for me had been too cruel. Who was insane? Me or Hinamizawa? Or was the answer something else? I started having trouble breathing. I didn't have any clue what was happening anymore. The loud chirps of the Higurashi were irritating me. Were even the Hinamizawa Higurashi I knew so well calling into the wind? No. That wasn't quite it. They weren't calling. They were crying. The pained wailing of those lost in some kind of rhythm in another world, no longer able to return to their own sunlight. I didn't do all of that to end up in a world like that. And actually, at about this time, I might have been having fun with everyone else. Sadako would have gotten her smile back after realizing her uncle wouldn't ever come home. And she might have shown it to us at our first club meeting in a while. That was the kind of world I wished for. So,
I can't believe Teppei's an essential character.
with this character's death, the threadish prophecy is severed.
Yes. He didn't even get to kill him.
So, what was this? Well, hey, we don't know which one the imposter is, right? What if we killed the real Teppei, and then they sent in an imposter to go abuse Sadako?
How much do you want to bet
really
he's gonna
amazing.
he's gonna go back to where the grave is, he's gonna dig it up and it's just empty?
That is a very real possibility right now, yes. But it doesn't. That also wouldn't necessarily prove that he didn't kill someone, right? Because somebody else could have dug that up. Anyway.
Someone just dug it up, took it home as a souvenir.
Well, I mean,
free body.
I mean, Takano
yeah.
seemed to
Yummy
know
meal.
what he was up to, so maybe she's not the only one to know what he was up to. He also did pass by a family, right? And he was probably covered in, like, scratches and bruises by that point. Anyway. Why did I end up In such a strange, ghastly world, someone I'd killed was living like normal, and I had enjoyed myself at the festival despite not being there. I don't want it. I don't want this strange world. When did it start to go wrong? When? When? No matter how much I thought about it, I never understood. I rode swiftly and returned to my home. It had begun to rain during my journey back, and just like yesterday, I was now soaked. But I didn't care about something so trivial right now. The pain I felt in my heart that Coach, the one person I trusted, was acting so cruelly, was far worse. Did I have no allies in Hinamizawa anymore? With the naive thought that I at least wanted my parents to side with me, I stepped up to the front door. Wait. Keiichi. It'll be dark soon. There's something you want to check, right?
Oh, he's gonna do it!
Yay! Yes. I wanted to dig up the man's corpse and get a look at his back. If there was a tiger tattoo there, I would know beyond a doubt he was Sadako's uncle. That long night wouldn't end until I was certain. If this insane world was all reparation, all a divine punishment, then I needed to make certain whether I had been successful enough to even deserve to pay that price. I went to the storage room again and got the shovel. It had been washed in the rain, but the paint was peeling, making it look unsightly. I never, ever wanted to touch this thing again. The sensation of it in my hands was totally different from the night before. There was a ruthless coldness about it. Yeah. It would be dark soon, so I'd need the lantern too. There would be a little bit of light from the street lights, but it would get extremely dark. I thought I'd put the lantern here, but I suddenly noticed it wasn't anywhere to be found. Then it hit me like a bolt of lightning. Of course. On that night, I hadn't brought the lantern back with me. I'd left it at the place I'd buried the body. If I didn't go get it soon, it would get very dark. And then, not only would I be unable to find the spot I'd buried the corpse, but I wouldn't even be able to find the lantern itself. If that happened, it was all over. I think it's already pretty over, Keiichi.
Nah. I need to hurry.
In order to fit the shovel in the basket on the front of my bike, I need to twist it and disassemble it. But it looked like there was dirt in the joints, and no matter how hard I pushed, it didn't want to come apart. After a strenuous effort, I realized I couldn't get it apart, so I decided to hold it in one hand and ride my bike with the other. Brother really needs a basket on his bike. With the downpour soaking me through, and a shovel in one hand, and riding one-handed, it was as if I'd returned to that night. No, return was the wrong word. It was more like that night had never ended.
Return, like Risk of Rain returns?
Yes.
Whoa.
The pain of the raindrops striking me were no different from then. The thing that was different was Hinamizawa. The world, and nothing else. The rain clouds were already making it dark. So now was about time for the sun to set. I could tell it would only get rapidly darker. The straight road leading to town.
What about the gay road that leads into town?
That's only for the Yuri couples, don't worry. The straight road leading to town, in the middle of it. That should be where I buried it. Yes. It was near that street light. On that night, too, the water from the downpour is splashing down on the streetlight's overhang like a waterfall. The pouring rain was exactly the same as it had been that night, and thus it brought my memories into focus. I left my bike in the brush and stepped into the forest, the ground already soaked with mud. Where had I buried him? Think. The darkness, the shadows. The water, the mud, everything was the same. Think. And then, I spotted the lantern by a fallen, moss-covered tree. That's right, I left it right there. I left the lantern here, then I would have buried him over here. With the sensation of standing in the sludge, my feet remember the spot better than my eyes did. I plunged my shovel into the ground. Ugh, it's hard. It wasn't here. I just dug it up, so it should have been softer. I stick my shovel down in a few spots to test what they feel like. One of them clearly felt deeper. I recalled where the lantern was, where the trees and things were in relation to each other, and knew that it had to be here. Under here slept that man's corpse. There would definitely be the tattoo of the tiger on his back. But if it wasn't there, then I had made a horrible mistake and killed someone completely unrelated instead. I would be more dazed at the fact that Sadako's uncle wasn't dead than I would regret having gotten someone else mixed up in this. If this insane world was punishment for the sin of committing murder, I wouldn't be able to accept it until I'd killed Sadako's uncle for good. And then, without any fear, I'd attack him again. And that time, I would kill him for sure. But what if the tattoo was there?
He just gets into like an infinite loop with just murdering Tepe over and over, and he just comes back the next day.
Yeah, there's like a cloning facility that just pumps them directly into his house.
Somehow, Keiichi didn't notice it, but right behind Tepe's house is just a giant facility that just says cloning facility on it.
Oh yeah, and Takano is there. There's like Keiichi Maibara's coming out, and they're all chatting about boobs or something. Anyway, that would mean...
What?
That would mean I'd killed Sadako's uncle. But that would be terribly strange. See, Keiichi... I like what Keiichi's putting down here, because I am thinking this as well. I think he killed Tepe. But that makes no sense, does it? What happened then? If I killed him for sure, then who was the uncle at Sadako's house this very moment? Impossible. I didn't even know anymore what I was using the word impossible to refer to. I've used the word quite a few times today. If I had to make the words impossible fit just one thing, what would it be? That much was obvious to me.
There not being a body down there.
It would be impossible for this crazy world to be real.
I shouted, then turned behind me. There was nobody there, of course. It hadn't been bothering me for a while, but those footsteps had followed me this entire day. Even just now, an extra step of footsteps had splashed behind me. No one was actually there, no indications of anyone even. But they were there.
Who are you? You've been following me ever since I came to this world.
That's right. Thinking back, the first time I heard those footsteps was after Takano-san and I had parted. Those footsteps were my welcome into this strange, inside-out world. No one could be there. I get no response. Whoever it was, they just kept staring at me. It wasn't ominous, just unpleasant. After staring into empty space for a bit, as I bathed in the rain, my illogical anger slipped away. My tension loosened, and a tired feeling reared its head. I tasted this feeling that night, too. The sudden exhaustion as I felt the tension in my brain loosened. My vision quickly narrowed, and I felt like everything around me had suddenly gotten darker. I couldn't give in to this sensation. Wait, Soggy, I just realized something.
Wait.
So, we're in a situation wherein Tepe is either alive or dead until we dig up the grave.
Schrodinger's Tepe.
They're doing the Schrodinger's cat thing. I knew it. I knew it. Every VN does this. Every single one. All of them.
They haven't done it yet.
They may as well be doing it right now. I'm gonna be real. I couldn't give into the sensation. I mean, it doesn't really count until they say Schrodinger's cat, but, you know. I would light what little explosives were left in my brain and force myself to keep going. I needed to dig that man up before my stamina ran out. I needed to see the tattoo on his back. I caught my suddenly ragged breath and calmed down. Then, I stuck the shovel into the soft, muddy ground again. It felt exactly the same as that night. The sense of digging a hole in the beach, with water coming into it with every wave. What day was today? Had I gone back to the night of Watanagashi? Every strange thought that came to mind tormented me. Given my exhaustion, I didn't think I could manage to hold those thoughts back. Once the hole was deep, all illumination finally faded, blanketing my vision in jet black. It was probably the moment the sun had fully set, too. That night, I had feared the worst and gone without using much light. My senses were so strained, I could see even in that darkness. But now, I didn't have that kind of strength left. I drained everything I had last night, and now the darkness would be lethal. I decided to turn on the lantern.
Darkness would be my lethal company.
True. Putting it on the first setting would make it give off a faint light. Even without how little there was, it was enough. And people wouldn't be able to see it from this far away in the rain. I grabbed the chilled lantern, turned the dial with a click, set it to the weakest light setting, and turned it on. An uncanny world of silhouettes appeared before me. A complex and strange shadowy world, created by the intricate entanglement of trees and branches. I had only turned on a light, and it was like, that was all it took to make the world into something else. Hey,
That's a funny callback.
yeah. Hey guys, remember in the virtual storehouse? I let out a quick, tired breath, wiped the liquid, neither rain nor sweat, from my brow. Then I raised the shovel into the air and slammed it into the mud. That moment, the silhouettes surrounding me ominously all moved at once. Inside my head, something packed in there, something coarse but not hot or cold, was loudly rushing about. The silhouettes were all around me, looking down at me. And one of them, a silhouette bigger than the others, stepped forward. Oh, I see. Bigger than the others. 'Cause he's fat. I get it.
And repulsive and old.
Okay, well, we don't have our usual here, so who would like to take Ooishi-sama this evening? Ooishi-sensei.
Good evening. The moon sure is beautiful tonight.
The coarseness in my brain shot through my whole spine and left me at my waist. The strength of my body all left me through my hips, and I crouched down with a splash into the sea of mud I dug myself.
Oh, Ooishi. Is that really how you address your elders? You'll have a rough time of it once you become an adult.
He's making that fucking face again, I know it. Yep. Okay. It wasn't only Ooishi, but 5 or 6 of them in a row. Men wearing
The
raincoats.
Ooishi twins? 5 or 6 of them?
Yo! The Ooishi sextuplets? I had no inkling that this many people had gotten so close. It was like Once I turned on the lantern, they just appeared there, sliding out of the shadows. Okay, sure.
Please, don't mind us. Just think of us as trees in the forest, perhaps.
Don't mind them?
Yes. Pay no attention to us. Please, continue digging your hole. It's very late, and raining very hard. And you're working pretty fervently. You won't get in your way. Please, dig to your heart's content.
No thank you, I said. When I tried to get up and turn around, 2 men blocked that route. They stood on either side of me and lifted me up with amazing strength, then threw me into the sea of mud. As I soaked in the mud bath I dug for myself, I looked up at the silhouettes looking down at me. Ooishi squatted, picked up my shovel, and threw it at my feet for me. It bounced loudly off the mud and hit me in the face.
Come, please, continue. Continue.
I couldn't bear the oppressiveness of the silhouettes surrounding me, and slowly, I stuck the shovel into the mud again. I felt like I was digging my own grave. A little bit, yes. If I kept digging, it wouldn't matter whether there was a tattoo or not, because that man's corpse would appear eventually. Okay, so Keiichi's always wrong, so there's no body.
So I mean that this is actually the funniest timeline.
Yes. If I kept digging, but the mud is still soft, right? So like,
reality's bending
Like-
to make Keiichi wrong.
They,
like,
they
there
get
would've
the
been
whole
something
fucking
buried
police
there.
department out there just to make fun of him for failing to kill someone.
if I kept digging, it wouldn't matter whether there was a tattoo or not, because that man's corpse would appear eventually. It was all over. Surrounded on all sides and nowhere to go. But I just couldn't figure it out, no matter how much I thought about it. Why were they here? Was it Takano-san? There was only one person who could have made the connection between me and this place.
Did you not tell Irie about the murder?
She forgot. He forgot. He forgot.
He heard him, the nurse go like, "Oh, it's Ooishi-san on the phone."
Listen,
What do you mean?
listen, Keiichi's on the codeine, so I'm gonna give him a break here. Shit, I knew it. She deserved to die. I mean, not that he's any better when he's not on the codeine, but, you know.
No, he's a little bit better. Stopping so soon?
Bam! I wish she kicked me in the back, which took me by surprise, sending me flying into the mud.
Hurry up and dig, please. You really should consider the fact that some of us are standing out here in the rain. Fuck you. If you don't like the rain, then just go home.
I wish she kicked some mud into my face. I'm gonna screenshot that one, that's a good one.
Use your hands, please, not your mouth. Only stage actors can do both at once. Isn't that right, boys?
The men around him didn't react, not knowing quite whether they should laugh, but when Ooishi glared at them, they started mumbling out pained chuckles. Just who was this guy? I knew the world had changed after that night, but if I went even further back, didn't it start when this guy showed up? That was when our peaceful days had been taken from us. Ever since he showed up in Hinamizawa, things had been odd. Everyone stopped smiling, and the world went crazy. The ground under my feet gradually got harder and heavier. I hadn't buried him this deep on that night, had I? My exhaustion peaked, and I sat down on the spot.
How long do you want me to dig? Kids these days have no stamina. Hey, you.
At Ooishi's gesture, the men all pulled out their own sinister-looking shovels.
Sinister-looking shovels.
As I watched a daze, one of them grabbed my collar, dragged me out of the hole, and threw me to the ground. The rest of the men stepped into the hole I dug and started shoveling themselves. As I stared at them, dumbfounded, Ooishi sauntered over and squatted down to look at me directly.
Keiichi Maibara-san, is this a hobby of yours? Digging holes on rainy nights?
When I didn't respond, Ooishi took one of the tin buckets they were using to bail out the muddy water, scooped up some of it, and splashed the whole thing in my face. Oh, that's going in the screenshot for sure.
I like how his scowl changed to a smile.
I mean, why wouldn't he be smiling?
He
at
enjoys
this?
beating up teenagers.
I mean, he did grab those girls' shoulders. Heavy
It
rain?
rains heavy today too. No matter how wet I get, I still don't understand the appeal.
Ooishi smiled to himself, and scooped up another bucket full of muddy water.
I'll ask you again. Is digging holes on rainy nights your hobby? Who the hell would have a hobby like that?
Splash! Ooishi hit me with another bucket full of muddy water. The pebbles in it stung.
Will there be something in that hole? I've always liked that story, you know? About the old man who could make plants bloom, and a puppy digging in his yard for gold.
I don't know what he's talking about. Sorry. As he
Like a Japanese thing.
Probably. As he spoke, he ran the bucket through the muddy water again. Hold on, I'm gonna screenshot this for later. I'll look it up. To splash it in my face again.
What kind of treasure is buried down there, hmm? Can't you at least give me a hint?
If you want to know, then dig on your own time. You fucking pig! I wasn't saying that out loud, but Ooishi mercilessly drenched me in muddy water again anyway. That's also screenshot material. Shit. If only you hadn't shown up, the world wouldn't have gone wrong. Ever since you showed up, things have been strange. Sadako got abused by your uncle. I ended up killing him, and the world went crazy. He was how it all began. Because of this culprit. He splashed another bucket of mud in my face. My insides were seething with anger. Die. You die too! If I have some strange power to kill someone by cursing them, like with Takano-san, then you're dead. And it won't be Oyashiro-sama's curse. It'll be mine. I'll curse you and kill you.
What a rebellious look you're wearing. Why don't we use this opportunity to teach you a thing or two in that regard? We really do live in peace these days. When I was about your age, corporal punishment was the norm for everything.
Ooishi-san,
One of the digging men in raincoats wiped some sweat off and called Ooishi over. Ooishi tossed the bucket away, then turned around with an evil grin on his face.
Yes, what is it?
Please, look at this.
Acceptance, or maybe resignation. I wanted to say to them, so you blockheads finally found it. Yeah, that's right, I'm the one who killed him. But you're the police, so it's your own job to figure out who he is, right? Come on, prove to me that he's really Sadako's uncle.
What on earth?
I think it's an old drain pipe. It seems to be connected to the irrigation channel over there.
Well, they didn't find it, did they?
Teppei transformed into a drain pipe. Whoa.
Yeah, they actually took him over to the corpse compacting factory. It's next to the cloning factory in Hinamizawa. And they compacted him until he looked like an old drain pipe.
Good theory. Let's smash the tank. It's not being used, is it?
The men all exchanged glances, then hesitantly broached another topic.
Ooishi-san, the ground down there is pretty hard. I don't think anything could be deeper than this.
Did we look at the location wrong?
No. At first, it definitely felt like the place had been dug up before. But after digging so far, the ground suddenly hardened. We think we've gone down further than the hole that was originally dug.
So, what does that mean? There was a hole here and someone filled it back up? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
This is great. This is wonderful. But we are at time. So
Let's finish this scene.
okay.
I feel like we shouldn't be too far off
Alright,
of finishing
sure.
it.
What? What were they talking about?
Well, well. I'm at a loss. Aren't you, my Barasan?
Ooishi grabbed my collar and dragged me to the huge hole they dug. The mud inside was like an ocean, and I couldn't see any drain pipe down there. One of the men stirred it with a shovel, letting me hear it clang against something hard. There was no doubt I'd buried him right here. Okay, so here's my theory. The mud in Hinamizawa is acidic, and his corpse is dissolved into the mud.
Wouldn't the policeman also just be dissolving actively while doing that?
No, the police are acid-proof. Haven't you ever read a fucking book?
But Enforcer and Risk of Frame
But I hadn't buried him this deep.
in one hit.
Yeah,
Listen, we're already over time.
if there's like if this is like Enforcer
I
Risk of
didn't
Rain is
dig
anything to
deep
go off
enough.
of, then like
dig
all of
deep
these
enough.
cops would have already melted by now.
I didn't dig deep enough to unearth the entire drain pipe.
A bug would land on their shoulder and they just explode into a fine red mist.
So, then, this man, his corpse, where was it? Proof that I'd been successful on that night was gone. Gone. Then, what? What on earth was I? Was I actually crazy after all? And just possessed by the delusion that I'd killed someone? That couldn't be. It was the unmistakable truth. It couldn't have been a hallucination. But now, the most important evidence that it hadn't been an illusion was gone. I killed him. I buried him. I had absolute, unwavering confidence in that fact. Then, did I fail to kill him? After I left here, had he started breathing again, crawled out, and gone back to Sadako's house? Was that it? Doesn't really explain the hole being filled again, does it? I had come here to see whether he had a tattoo or not. And yet, the truth I unearthed was far more than that. Yesterday, what was I? I killed him. I buried him. There was no doubt. But for some reason, he lived and crawled back out. And that was impossible too. I'm so tired of hearing the word impossible over and over. I get it. Dead people don't like to play by the rules here in Hinamizawa. Then, I'll kill you as many times as I need to. I'll keep killing you, until you never show your face to Sadako again. Ooishi and the others were muttering to each other. Eventually, their conversation ended, and Ooishi came towards me. What did he want to say? What did he want me to do? I stiffened, tensing up, and then Ooishi just ignored me like I wasn't even there, and passed right by me. The other men, too, they ignored me and shuffled away. Eventually, there was no longer a sign that anyone was around, and I returned to my quiet world of silhouettes. The only one left there was me. Only the sound of the pouring rain filled up the silence. Alright, there we go. That's our ending.
Yeah,
Take
that's
a
a good.
shit,
That's a
everyone.
better spot
We
too.
did it! Yay!
There's
Yeah,
like
but it would have
5
been funny to
bits.
leave it on a cliffhanger.
We did it!
That's also kind of leaving it on a cliffhanger, to be fair.
Record of malice.
Whoops. Let me just, real quick, I want to see what the picture on the tips are. This is just black. That's just a black... It's just a black rectangle.
I think that's happened before.
That's definitely happened before.
I don't think it has. So I have no idea what this could be, but this is probably Irie to Ooishi, I would assume. We'll see that next time. Just based on the name and the picture, it seems like that's probably what it is. Anyways. GG, gamers.
We did it.
Yay!
There's no body in the hole.
Yeah, there was no body. Everything's fine. Nothing
It
happened.
escaped through
Nothing
the.
ever
It
happened.
escaped through the
Look,
irrigation pipe.
Just ignore that the hole was covered back up.
Well,
and
that's
everything's
because...
fine.
So, Pepe did receive a mortal injury while he was up on the surface, but he's actually an earthworm. So him being put into the earth rejuvenated him, and then he just like, slinked away or whatever it is
So,
that...
okay, so wait, what you're
Earthworms
saying
do.
is like there's a big patch of dirt in his house, and it like connects to the ground outside, so that whenever he dies...
Yeah, why do you think he
they
can't
can
go
just-
to the store himself? It's because they're racist and don't serve
Oh.
earthworms.
Okay, yeah, so everything makes sense now.
Yeah,
Alright,
and
well,
Remember what Keiichi
Bye,
said
YouTube.
about him?
what?
That he only saw him from the window,
Yeah,
and he couldn't see his lower body.
yes.
It's because it's a centaur type of deal. His lower body is that of an earthworm, while his upper body is human.
That's more like... That's not a centaur, that's more like a naga, isn't it?
What?
A naga?
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so. And he just had, like, arms and legs to operate the motorcycle.
Yes.
As a
It's
treat.
the motorcycle, though.
Yeah, he-
right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
The
his,
motorcycle
and it's specially
comes
made
with-
for him.
Yeah, the motorcycle comes with its own arms and legs.
it's an earthworm motorcycle.
Like he has, you know that like lamp from A Christmas Story, like the sexy leg lamp.
of course.
He just has those like duct taped to the pedals. So
He coils up like a snake around the base.
okay,
of
bye
the
YouTube.
motorcycle.
I'm going insane now.
and
Bye.
he squeezes
Bye
it.
YouTube.